What's up, y'all? My name is Nick and welcome back to State of Woods Co. Today we're going to do a cooking demonstration for you. No, we're not. That's tomorrow. I'm sorry. I got my days mixed up. It's ridiculous. Okay, what we are going to do is we're going to do a little project inside. We are in my kitchen right now instead of the shop because the shop is just too cold. So let's get started with this project. But first, with every cooking show, there has to be a special guest. And our special guest today is Landon, the other co-owner of State of Woods Co. What's up, Landon?
Nothing much.
All right, so we are gonna do a little epoxy pour today. We are gonna use Total Boat's high performance medium hardener. This is their 2-to-1 product. And this product, along with all the other epoxy products, like to be done where it's warm. And right now, our shop is just too cold.
Yeah, it's kind of like when people go to a Mexican restaurant and cold outside.
What does that have to do with anything?
They all say burrito. So, do you even cook in here?
Well, yes, I cook in here. I mean, when I want to cook, I'm pretty good at it. But lately, I've been a little scared to cook in here.
Well, why are you scared?
I don't know. Like, I was gonna crack an egg the other day, but I didn't want to whisk it. All right, we're ready to go, but I feel like I forgot something.
Hey, you're pulling your apron.
My apron.
So, what kind of wood are we going to work with?
So today's wood we're gonna work with is just 3/4 inch oak plywood. That's gonna be the base for our epoxy project. What we're gonna do first is we're gonna take some Tyvek tape and tape around all of the edges just so that we don't have a lot of waste. You can have waste pour-offs on either side, but we wanna contain as much as we can and sort of control our waste. So let's tape that off around the edges.
Wait, can't we use TV magic like they use in cooking shows?
I mean, I guess so, why not? Let's see. Let's do that. And then we'll bring out one already done. Woo. Good thinking, buddy. All right, and so what we've done on this one as well is we've already poured one very thin layer of clear epoxy just to create a good substrate and to reduce all the bubbles that could have formed coming out of that wood. So we are ready to pour.
All right.
Good thinking.
Again, we're using Total Boat's high performance epoxy with medium hardener as well as black diamond pigments. We will leave their links in the description below. This epoxy is a 2-to-1 mixture and we make sure to mix thoroughly for a few minutes. We mix before pigments and again after pigments are added. Total Boat has great instructions on how to mix and the ratios for all of their epoxies on their website. We start with the epoxy that makes up the water, adding colors to get the effects we want. This is the fun part. You can be as creative with the colors as you want. We also added clear on the beach to help with keeping the water off that part of the wood and to keep it all level. In this pour we used a fork to mix and add textures. We gently hit it with a heat gun just to remove any bubbles, and it also helps to move that epoxy around a little more. Man, the texture and the effects of those black diamond pigments are just amazing. After several hours, it's time to pour the waves. We start with clear base everywhere you want the white caps and then layer it with the white epoxy. You want that clear base layer to allow for the wave effects to spread. And you can be as heavy or as light with that white as you want. Now it's time to manipulate the waves the way you want, either with a heat gun, a blowtorch, or picking up the piece and letting gravity help. Again, this is all up to you. You can make the waves as violent or as calm as you want. Sometimes it helps to layer waves for more effect. You can always add more clear and white to obtain that look that you're going for. You don't want to get the epoxy too hot with the heat gun or the torch. Always keep that heat source moving. Getting the epoxy too hot affects the exothermic reaction within the epoxy and can cause it to set up faster in some spots and even burn. After we let that set up overnight, we could apply the vinyl lettering. This project is for a beach house named Amazing Grace, so that's what we'll go with. Using some painter's tape, I marked out the layout we wanted. You want to make sure your lettering is completely down with no gaps or bubbles underneath. Any of those gaps or bubbles will be visible underneath those layers in your next pour. Once you have peeled off that clear sheeting, you can pour a clear layer over everything. Here I am using a tongue depressor to help spread out that top coat. Hit it just a little bit with a heat torch to remove all the bubbles, and this pour should be good to go. Cutting the final project down to size can be a scary one. To make sure we don't have any chipping, we used a door board and a sacrificial table to prevent that chipping. I also put a cloth painter's tarp between the epoxy and the door board to prevent any surface scratching on the top. Now for the frame. I found some old cypress on my storage rack and routed out a groove for the piece to sit in using my Triton router. We're going to use a simple miter frame for this build. A couple of carefully cut 45s and we're ready to build the frame. I am using some CA glue from Starbond to hold the frame together while I secure it with brad nails. The epoxy piece is then secured in the back with thin pieces of trim and hanging hardware is attached. After that, this thing is ready for the wall.
All right, so I think it came out great. For our first wave epoxy, and really our first epoxy project in general, I think it came out just wonderfully. So I hope the client really likes it. So if you liked what you saw today, go ahead and hit like and comment below because we'd really love to hear your feedback. And if you will, go ahead and hit subscribe because we have a lot of projects coming up and a lot of videos already in the works. Some shop builds, some epoxy projects, some build projects, we've just got it all. So go ahead and hit subscribe and we'll see you on the next video.